Hello and welcome to the Caro. This is the second part of my knitting and Lord of the Rings video. As you can see, it's finished and I'm super happy. I have been sick for most of December and a significant chunk of January, so I'm not gonna make a third video about this. There wasn't a lot of interest in the first video at all, so it doesn't feel like there's any point to it. I'm gonna make a bit of an explanation in the end of the video on my design choices, but that will be all. Yeah, and that's also why this video took so long to come out, because I also had to order more yarn, and as I said, I was sick. I was really miserable and I lost my voice and stuff like that, so that wasn't great. So let's just move past that and let's get into the video. Please enjoy. Okay, new update. I've done my leaf design. I think I last updated after my Gandalf design. So here's where we are at. Oh, and I can't get it like that. And I'm gonna show you a better angle. But it's really starting to become a sweater now, or really it started to reach the end for the body portion, and hopefully the sleeves will go a lot quicker when we get there. Not that this hasn't been really fun, because it has been really fun, but I also kind of want to wear it, so I can get to that point where one part of me wants it to never get finished and another part of me wants it to get finished now. There are the leaves. They don't stand out a whole lot. They don't stand out that much, but it's... I wanted to go with the leaves against their grey cloaks. So that's why it has that color combination. Maybe I should have made it against the background where it had stood out more, but I also started to run out of yarn for certain colors, so I think it looks good. I'm happy with it, so that's what really matters. I'm going to move on to the next portion. As you can see, I've loaded up some brown yarn. And I showed you this. I've done a small alteration to add like a white flower here, and that's mostly so that I won't have to go that large portion without switching yarn. I've done that a lot of the times here, but now I felt I could add another design, so I did that. So I'm gonna work on my Rohan design. I might change the background for staying to black, because I have enough black to make this part for the sleeves and also make one more background black, so I might do that. So we shall see. So I think that happens when you work on a project that you don't have a lot of experience in, and just feeling your way through it basically is what I ended up with. As you can see, I threaded through my smaller knitting needles with 8 centimeters like wire or string or whatever you can call it. Yeah, so I thread that through at my last round. That is correct. What I discovered, I thought I had checked my math, but I actually apparently I hadn't done that for the horses. This one can't repeat properly around the entire sweater, which means that the last repeat is too small, which would look weird. So I had to redesign it, and I have this new design. I'm going to color it in, which allows me to add in a helmet, which was nice because I wanted to do that, but I didn't have space for it. It's also annoying because I didn't discover this until I got to my like 4th round for this design. Super annoying. I should have been paying more attention. So I have to now do the scary thing and rip out my right size needles for what I'm doing here. The other ones are smaller, but I'm going to be working with my wooden needles, the ones that are the right size. When I start knitting again, the other needles are just to hold my stitches, so when I unravel this, or frog it I think some people call it, then it won't freak me out. So now I'm just gonna unravel just all the way around. So I'm gonna work with my proper knitting needles going forward. So what's happening now is that I'm gonna make my new design, and I'm going to be knitting from the first line where I am using both brown and white, and that's just how it goes, and that's fine. I've done that on not this much, but I have unraveled previous sections, and it doesn't set you back that much. It's just frustrating, and you kind of have to take a break and take some deep breath and just, okay, how shall I fix this? And then you fix it, and then you move on. So I have my new design, which I'm actually really happy with. It's going to be better than the other one. The only thing, I wish I could fit in some kind of flower design, but I can't, and I don't know if I'm gonna keep the triangle thingy. I'm gonna color in the brown around it and decide. I'll update you after I colored it in. So I ended up with this design instead. This is what I'm going to do. Starting over with this section. Always check your math. I'm gonna double check it now. And I have 34 stitches, and that should work. So I'm going to start over. Yes. Okay, next update. I have done my Rohan Rohirrim round. See, it's gonna look a lot nicer when I've gone down a bit more. I brought this to show my mom, and she also really couldn't see the leaves, which is a shame, but I'm not gonna go back and redo them and redo the Rowan portion. It's just going to have to be what it is. So here's the thing. According to the instructions in the pattern, I am meant to complete the A.3 diagram, which is I made into this diagram, and I have just to clarify, I have kept to the same number of like rows of all this, so I have altered the width of my garment but not the length, and I meant to do all that and then keep on knitting with in this pattern. It's red, but like the background color, until I get to 30 centimeters from my underarm marking. The thing is, I haven't even finished my this portion of the design, it already measures 30 centimeters from that marking, which is a bit confusing to me. And after that, I meant to keep like separate my work. It's called a sprund in Swedish, but it's like pirate shirts and stuff like that, when you separate the sides. So when men used to have old shirts, you also use them as underwear, so they were separated, so it was easier to like fold them. This is sort of the same design, not the same purpose, but like the same design, where the front portion and the back portion separates when it goes down over the hips. I don't want to do that. I want to do this kind of knitting over the hips. And my mom said I probably need to do that with my larger knitting needles, as they need to be a bit looser. I'm going to, when I've finished this, my design portion, I'm going to go directly into the blue finishing portion, and I'm just going to knit it in round. And I'm before I do that, I'm gonna try it on and see if I need something that sits a bit more tightly around the hips, or if I need to keep with using the bigger knitting needles to make it fit better. Yeah, so according to the instructions, when I'm finished with work, it's meant to measure 42 centimeters from the underarm marking. I don't know if it's going to do that or be shorter, because it's always already plenty long enough for what it's meant to be. So might not measure quite that long. I'm just going to knit my portion with sting and evaluate after that. I think I'm going to change this background and do it in black, I think. So the same with that will make the blade of the sword stand out more, and it also will give that being in a cave and the orcs are coming and the sword is glowing kind of look to it. So that will be nice. I have done all my patterns. Ta-da! Can you see it? So I am content with the length of it. I'm gonna show you a picture of how it looks on me right now, and it's not too tight around the hips, which is great, which means I can do the rib knitting at the bottom of it. And I'm gonna do it with the black, no, with the dark blue yarn. Yeah, you know what, I don't want the dark blue to be up against the black, so I'm gonna just do like a geometric pattern with some of the lighter colors in 2 rows between that and the dark blue, but I'm not gonna update after that. I'm going to then, instead of separating it to a back piece and a front piece, I'm gonna continue to knit in a round, and I'm going to do, before you start with the rib knitting here, you increase. And I learned that in the beginning, did the neckline, I did a increase directly after I did the ribbing, like the stretch knitting, and switched to the larger size of knitting needles. And here the instruction says that when I switch to the smaller side, I'm meant to increase. So I thought it might be like the reverse, but it's exactly the same. So I'm gonna add even more stitches to my round and do the rib knitting, so it shouldn't be too tight due to that. I think. So I'm just gonna go for it. Yeah, so instead of having it being 204 stitches, like which I have now, I'm gonna increase up to 252 stitches, because you're meant to increase 24 for the front and 24 for the back. I'm just gonna increase 48 instead. So yeah, and after I've done that, the body piece is done and I can move on to the sleeves. So see if I can set up the camera and show you a bit of the rib knitting, since I didn't show the start of the project, any active knitting. But that depends on how into the project I get, so see you next time. Okay, so I started knitting with the Pony Classic knitting needles. They have sort of a bend to the needle itself. I do not like these. I don't. They are they feel really weird and I don't find it comfortable, and I am really happy that I didn't have to knit the entire thing with these, because no, I would have to order some more, because no, I can barely do this without getting too frustrated. And no, I don't like them. I want to get this piece done so I don't have to use them anymore. So now I know. And yeah, that's the kind of stuff you discover when you start a new medium. Some equipment, like tools and stuff, don't work for you, and that's why it's important to don't just give up because one type of tool or equipment frustrates you or make it harder to work. You just have to find something else if it's available. Or if, in case of my mom, she just makes stuff. She didn't have knitting needles large enough, so she took what's it called in English, like wooden rods we have from my grandfather's art supplies. He was a professional artist, and she like carved them into knitting needles and worked with them so they were the right size. And she always does stuff like that. I'm so impressed. She's done some Tunisian needle. It's some kind of, it's some different kind of, it's like a really long crochet hook, but it's not meant to be used as a crochet hook. It's used in a different way. Anyway, she made stuff like that herself. I'm always super impressed. Anyway, kind of feel like taking off after her and remaking my needles, but I'm just going to keep on working and hopefully be done soon, because this is so much harder to work with than the other knitting needles. They were, I didn't even really had to think about them. These are making themselves known. I don't like them. I don't like them at all. Like 0 stars. Or like maybe 1 star, because they do fill their function. I just don't find them comfortable. They're not for me. So I'm gonna keep working. So as you can see, I have finished the sweater, body portion of the sweater, all the way to the bottom, and in the back it's a bit uneven. I'm hoping that will even out when I do the blocking. I followed the instructions in the pattern. My mom said that you normally do the pattern shift under the arm, but this pattern said you're meant to do it in the back, so I'm hoping it won't look weird in the pattern in the back after the blocking. But if we tilt that down a bit, yeah, so as you can see, it goes down over my hips and half my backside, basically, and it's a bit straight. It's not shaped exactly. I think it would have been shaped if I would have followed the pattern, but then it would have been too tight around my hips. So I'm happy with this. It's meant to be like a take on the Christmas sweater, and the Christmas sweaters are a bit comfy style instead of a stylish style, if that makes sense. So I think this will look nice, and it's not bad that it's straight. It just is. So just a bit different from the original pattern, which isn't surprising because I changed stuff. So now I'm gonna go to work on the sleeves. I've made a start on the first sleeve, as you can see, matching up the pattern. So I'm gonna continue on that tomorrow. I just wanted to say that according to the pattern, I have knitted 2 centimeters, and then I decreased 1 stitch on each side of my underarm marking, and then I'm going to knit in rounds in 3 centimeters, and then decrease again. Now I'm gonna knit 3 centimeters, do a decrease, and repeat that 12 times while I knit the A1 pattern. Continue to knit this, and when I'm done with this pattern, I'm going to jump to diagram A4, which we haven't done yet. It's a adaptation of the Smaug and Sauron's Eye pattern, because it needs to match up on the top of the arm, right? So that would be a bit strange. So I might... Yeah, you know what's going to happen? I'm not going to do another update until I get to that, because that's when things gonna get different. Hello! Sorry, I forgot to update you guys for quite a while, because I've had a lot of stuff going on, and I just been knitting between stuff, and it's been kind of hard to like have the energy to film. I'm gonna take a quick one here because I have I've had a migraine and I still have a bit of a headache. Not as bad, so I'm feeling kind of back to sort of dealing with it. Anyway, I have knit this much of the sleeve. So the doors, the bows, the ring, the dragon and eye design, the Gandalf design, and the Lorien leaf design. So I had to make my own alteration so I could make the dragon and stuff like that, and that made a lot of black on the underside of the sleeve. And as you can see, the pattern gets messed up on the underside, but I sort of think if you stitch together a garment with a patterned fabric, you get a weird effect on the underside of the sleeve there as well. So I'm gonna let that be what it is, because I'd rather it's a bit weird on the underside of the arm instead of being weird in relation to the body. If I were to completely change the spacing or stuff like that to make it fit with the amount of stitches I have, it would look weird in relation to the body. So I'm rather it's just weird in one place on the sleeve and looks the same overall than changing it to match the amount of stitches I have and it looking weird in relation to the body. So yeah, so now we get to the horses and the swords and the helmet, you know, the Rohan portion of the sleeve. And as you know, I did quite a bit alteration to the pattern there. So now I have to do a special pattern for the sleeve, as well as I did to the Smaug and Sauron design. So what I did is this. The sword will end up on the top of the sleeve and the helmets will be towards the underside of the sleeve. So I think it will look nice. This means it will be two helmets against each other, but they are on the underside of the sleeve, so that's fine. So, and this I need to leave some space on each side because as you can see, I did the decrease here. I just did this thing to indicate that this was originally a longer portion that I decreased, and that means there will come a decrease somewhere around here again with 3 centimeters and then doing decreases. So I need some space for that. So I'm gonna do that one, and then I'm gonna do the swords and then the final geometric pattern, and then I will have the ribbing to do, and I don't think I have enough yarn for even one sleeve, so I'm going to order some more yarn. Okie dokie, update. I don't remember when I last updated. A lot of things have been going on, and I've been trying to preserve my energy. So this is how far I've gotten. Ta-da! As you can see, this I still haven't finished this, and I am reaching the end of this, and I've been going back and finishing up my loose ends. So that's been, you know, boring. But yeah, I haven't done all the ends in the sleeve yet. So that's going to be just delightful, finishing off all these ends. But yeah, that's no matter what thing you're doing, if it's crochet and or knitting or I don't know, sewing, stuff like that, loose thread ends, especially when you need to finish them off in some way, they are super annoying and boring, but that's just part of the craft. Yeah, so what I wanted to update you on was I haven't been able to finish this off because I ran out of yarn, and my order of yarn came in, so now I can finish it off. And I was worried that the black one wouldn't be sufficient, so I got more blue. No, black, I mean, sorry, I got black and blue. And I also, since it was Black Friday sale, I could add this to my order, which is great. It is an Addy sock wonder. It's the same I made my socks with, but with a larger size. And this will make knitting the sleeve easier, I think, because I get really annoyed at the whole magic loop thing. I mean, it's nice. It makes it so you can use these kind of knitting needles instead of having to use like 4 or 5 knitting needles. How many it is you're supposed to use when you use sock needles. But with this, I can just use this, and it has one end that's small, one that's long. The other ones I have, it has a lace tip on this end, but this one doesn't have that. It's not necessary. I will say, when you're working on really on much smaller yarn like these, when you're making socks, the lace end on the knitting needle is really nice. But for this, it's not necessary, I don't think. So I'm going to film me transferring my knitting to the sock wonder and show you how it works knitting with sock wonder, and hopefully it will make the process more enjoyable. Not that this have been terrible. It's not as bad as knitting the rib knitting for the bottom was with those super annoying aluminum knitting needles, pony and aluminum knitting needles. They were super annoying, but it hasn't been as nice of a workflow as it's been when I knit the body and I didn't have this thing where I had to pull this string thing out. So I'm going to show you. Okay, I like the Addy Sock Wonder needles better than using the magic loop. It you won't be able to test your sleeves with these ones on. You will have to put your stitches on a piece of string or something, or another pair of, you know, longer knitting needle. needles to be able to put this on, because if you put it on with this, the stitches will come pop loose. But to work with this is a lot smoother and more fun than using this one and a magic loop. Hi, I don't know what I lost updated. I have been sick, so everything is out of order, or like not as I hoped it would be. And I haven't been able to really film like this because my voice, as you hear it now, it's so much better than it was before, and it's still not back properly. So I have knitted everything on the sweater, and I have also I also dealt with all the loose yarn pieces, like threads, and secured them. I don't what's it called? I'm not even gonna look up what it's called in English. So now I need to stitch underneath the arm, and I haven't been able to do that because I've been really foggy, and I didn't want to do anything that I could totally mess up with. I guess it wouldn't be, there's not a lot to mess up with this, but I didn't want to risk it when I had worked so hard on this. Hello, I'm ill, so I'm going to be coughing, and I sound weird, I think. It's better than it was. Anyway, I have stitched down under my arms and stuff like that, but you might notice a problem in that the sleeves get too short, and I don't, I have a cat on the rogue. Yeah, so the sleeves are too short for some reason, and I didn't realize that until both sleeves were on and everything was like finished, because when I just had one sleeve before I cast off, it was fine. But when the other sleeve came on, something different happened with the neckline, and everything like evened out properly. And you know what that means? It means that the other one showed that they were too short, and I cast off the other sleeve before I realized this. So I have been sick, so I haven't had the energy to do anything really, and I haven't been able to consult with my mom, and that meant that I couldn't do any real work on it, and also I haven't been able to focus properly, but I've started to get back to being able to do that, and I've realized that I just have to unravel the cuffs and the lower portion of the sweater and add another section, because this is actually meant to be a longer sweater than it is. And I don't know what happened, because the measurements are correct. And I am a short person. I am 158 centimeters. I don't know what's that in, is in American measurements, but anyway, I'm a short person, so usually the problem is that sleeves are too long and that the torso is too long. It's too short here, and I don't know what happened. And I don't think it's small enough that it's going to be fixed with the blocking thing. So I'm just going to figure out a different design. I think I can get in like a design that's roughly the same size that my cuff is right now. And maybe even a bit longer, because I like a bit of a poofier sleeve for sweaters, or like a longer sleeve for sweaters. So I'm going to think about another design to add in, and I am not going to get out this video before the end of the year, I realize now, or maybe, yeah, I'm probably not gonna get it out before the end of the year. So that's just what's going to have to happen, because that's the reality of the situation. So hopefully I will be able to get it done before the end of the year for myself, but not the video. So this is the design that I decided to put in to make my shirt a bit longer. So it's gonna be arrows going around me. And that's what I'm gonna do now. So, update. I am feeling a bit better. I have made the arrows and I'm gonna show you, but I've decided I'm also going to do 3 rows with the dark red color, and in the middle of the rows I will do like every other or every third with the yellow color. It's because I like that combo, and it will sort of tie together because I've used that a bunch, and I also wanted it to be just a little bit longer. So these are my arrows, as always, as I said repeatedly. The shape of them will look better when I've done a couple of more rows, but I'm kind of happy with them. I wished I could have made it look decent and use 3 colors, so I could have, for like the arrow, like, so I could have like dark red or something on the it's called like fletching, or yeah, I can't quite remember what the like feathers at the end of the arrow is called, but I tried it and it got very complicated because it was such a large distance between the colors that way, and it also felt really wasteful compared to everything else I'd made, so I didn't want to do that. So this will have to do, and I think it looked really nice. So just 3 more rows with the dark red color and the yellow color. I've finished with the hem again. As you can see, I made the arrows and the red and the yellow, and then the ribbing, and then I'm gonna have to deal with these ends. So now I'm gonna fix the sleeves and then I'll be done. And that's it for the Lord of the Rings sweater, and I'm very happy with it. This is the first time I've knit a big garment, and the first time I've knit with more than one color, and I'm so happy with how it turned out. I don't really know how to explain it. I said in the video, I think, that I was going to do the blocking. That didn't happen. I was sick most of December and a big portion of January. So after New Year's I had a brief spell of not being sick during Christmas and New Year's, and then it came back, or I got something else, and my mom took the sweater and blocked it for me, and that was really great because I couldn't figure out how to do it here at home without the cats getting on it and you know, what's it called when they're kneading with their little paws on it and it's snagging on their claws, and that wouldn't have been great. So my mom did it and it's awesome. The arms was a bit tight before that, but like the sleeves was a bit tight before that, but after the blocking it's a lot more comfortable. And I'm just so happy. I said in the last video I was going to make a video explaining my design choices. I don't think I'm gonna do that. As I said, became sick and I don't really have the energy for it. And there wasn't a lot of interest on my first video, so I don't think there will be a lot of interest for that. Just, I'm gonna show you on the top shelf in my bookcase, Tolkien Get Pride of Place, and it's the space in my bookcase where Sokka absolutely can't get at it because all the other spaces he has managed to get to. So this is to prevent my precious Lord of the Rings stuff from getting damaged by an really exploratory cat. Yeah, so here I have some making of books. I used them as inspiration. I obviously rewatched the movies. I have the extended editions and that was great. I've read and reread the books so many times in both Swedish and English. And yeah, I also have this lovely illustrated edition that I got inspired by. So that's how I got inspired. And in the video I've talked about each individual design, so I don't think I need to go further into that. So this will be all for the Lord of the Rings knitted sweater, and I've already started on my next knitted sweater project. So that will be great. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. And if you want to see more of my videos in the future, you may want to subscribe and hit the notification bell. May the stars shine upon your faces and have a glorious day. Thank you and goodbye for now. Oh, and just a little bit, the whole May the stars shine upon your faces, it's a Lord of the Rings reference. It's something Elrond says. So, yeah. Bye.